The TVWAN News is proudly brought to you by
BSP, our bank, our people.
Hello, this is TV1 News. I'm Maricela Kelaton.
And I'm Jasmine Nehru. Join me later in the bulletin for the sports news.
In this edition, Busu opens new 4-in-1 classroom. No quick answers for power issues. And Kokopo Nines League heads into round 2. Mosby South MP Justin Chochenko has called for a full investigation into the Kila Secondary School fire this week. The school administration block was burned to a rubble in the early hours of Sunday, March 12. Police have brought several people in for questioning. After visiting the incident site, Chochenko said this is the third time that a property of the school had been burnt down. The first incident was when a computer room caught fire. In his second incident, a brand new classroom funded by the office of the member was purposely set on fire by a student. The burning down of the school admin building is the third incident. The MP plans to have a relook at the school management. A submission has been put forward by the Department of Education to have all school boards abolished. MP Chochenko said this will enable all district administrations to run the schools. The school is being temporarily operated out of its library. Science students from Busu Secondary School now have a new state-of-the-art 4-in-1 classroom block to learn in. Courtesy of the Digicel Foundation, the 1.6 million kina classroom was opened on Monday, the 13th of March, inlaid by board members of the Digicel Foundation, including senior officers of the Morobe Provincial Education Division.
Busu Secondary School was a hive of activity on Monday morning as they welcomed executives of Digicel Foundation and Digicel PNG for the opening of a modern 4-in-1 classroom block. The building, complete with an additional 50,000 kina computer lab, is set aside for the grade 12 and 11 science students. Speaking at the event, Chairman of the Digicel PNG Foundation, Michael Henao, said they have been looking forward to the opening of the two-story 1.6 million kina building, which is the highest amount the foundation has ever spent on a single classroom.
But because Busu has been a project for us unlike any other, this unique structure that we're going to be opening today was designed especially for Busu Secondary School in order to meet its current needs and also to allow for its future expansion aspirations. It has been our great pleasure to partner with Busu Secondary School. So on behalf of my board, I wish to congratulate your good self, Mr. Kesu, your good self, Mr. Noble, and all your board of governors and administration. You have done a remarkable job.
Henao said the event was an example of what could be achieved through partnerships for nation building. He said in Morobe, Digicel Foundation has invested 7.149 million kina into the building and rolling out of 32 classrooms, 2 libraries, 2 mobile health clinics, 3 rural health aid posts, and now, in Busu, their first 4-in-1 two-story classroom block. Digicel PNG Senior Vice President Lorna McPherson applauded the vision of Busu Principal Mr. Noble, which has propelled Busu to be one of the top schools in the nation.
So it's a happy day, not only for Busu Secondary School and your community, but also for us as a company as we gather today to witness the launch of this new classroom. And we came to know the plight of the school through Brian Malone, who's over here, who's the head of our regions for Digicel. As a company, we employ over 800 staff countrywide, and many of our staff actually went to Busu Secondary School and other schools in the Lay City. When Brian first presented the need facing the school to our board in terms of the ageing school infrastructure, We knew this was a school worth investing because of the strong leadership of the school principal, Mr Noble, and of course the staff and the chairman as well.
McPherson encouraged students and the community to take ownership of the new infrastructure, saying, "Take care of it, and in time, it will take care of your future." Carol Kidu Jr., TV1 News.
Member for Kabum, Patrick Bassa, is concerned that schools in remote areas and districts are facing challenges in accessing school supplies and other academic materials. Bassa raised this on the floor of Parliament today and called on the Minister for Education, Jimmy Uguro, for a report.
With the school academic year in the middle of first term, schools in the remote districts have faced challenges of having access to school materials. Patrick Bassa, member for Kabum in Morobe province, says many students are struggling with having classes because school materials and even teachers have yet to reach them. He called on the Minister for Education, Jimmy Uguro, to report on how this issue is being addressed.
Hearing about the another million kina worth of contract for the supply of materials, I asked the Minister the following questions. Why can't the supply of school materials be done by the respective provincial education boards, working with the district education authorities and the district leaders like us? Number two, is the Minister aware that these arrangements of using selected SMEs has failed in the past? Number three, is the criteria for choosing the SMEs, do they have capacity to cover the remote schools like mine in Kabum?
Bassa also asked for an audit report into the contract of supplying school supplies. Minister Uguro responded, saying the contract to supply materials was for 2017 to 2022. There is a new one in place.
This has been the ongoing program that started from the past governments, and we are continuing. Like I said earlier on last time, it was a contract given to the company in 2017. There was a two-phase contract, 2017, 18, 19, and from 2020, 21 and 22. This year's contract was the last contract from 2020, 22.
Uguro also clarified that with the new contract, the Education Department is giving SMEs in the 22 provinces to supply the school materials.
Yes, and going forward, we will have a new contract. We'll give opportunity to 22 provinces. And for the first time, we fixed this arrangement by giving opportunity to SME, the local content.
Freddie Moe, TVWAN News.
Treasurer Ian Lynn Stuckey says the current government is the infrastructure government. This is due to the government's investments in physical capital to support growth in the economy and major increases in human capital spending. The country's health funding allocated by the national government will reach 2,311 million kina in 2023, a 34% increase from 2021. Education will receive 1,650 million kina, a 51% increase from 2021. Law and Justice will reach 1,787 million kina, a 41% increase from 2021. Treasurer Ian Lynn Stuckey says this is supporting the police recruitment campaign. In providing an update on the country's economy, the Treasurer went on to highlight the commitment made by the government to increase salary funding for a steady 5% increase of teachers and doctors and nurses through to 2027, and then 10% increase each year after that.
Making sure that our new schools and hospitals will have the necessary staff. The economic sector will receive 989 million kina, a 46% increase from 2021, with a much greater focus on supporting our farmers and agriculture and SMEs.
The Treasurer also stated that funding for provinces will increase to 5,138 million kina, a 30% increase from 2021. This gives governors more resources to implement their key activities at the decentralized level. However, there are challenges.
The major challenge for the 2023 budget is now ensuring that this record level of funding is spent well and benefits our people. There is much work, much hard work ahead for all of us to ensure that this occurs. The 2023 budget is being delivered with a budget repair of a 1 billion reduction in the deficit.
Lynn Stuckey maintains that Papua New Guinea is doing better than most because of the government's economic policies. Minister for State-Owned Enterprises William Nduma has admitted that the government has no quick answers nor solutions to the current challenges faced by PNG Power Limited. He was responding to questions from Governor of East Sepik, Alan Bird, on the continuous blackouts experienced all over the country.
Minister for State-Owned Enterprises William Nduma said a report will be tabled in Parliament in due course on PNG Power's challenges in supplying efficient power supply. He said the government will never sell the company as speculated, but work together in turning the company around and make it profitable. Governor for East Sepik, Alan Bird, had put the question to Minister Nduma, also raising concerns that contractors engaged by PNG Power are unnecessary.
PNG Power currently owes all its suppliers approximately 600 to 800 million kina in debts, which it is unable to pay. One of those suppliers is currently in court seeking restitution from PNG Power.
PNG Power is definitely not on sale now. We are not going to sell this important company through a fire sale, which will result in us getting no value for an important national asset. We have the power and the mechanisms and the controls to work together to turn this company around, which has been allowed over many, many years, not the last 4 or 5 years, or not since this government took office in 2019, for this company to be in the state where it is now.
Minister Nduma further clarified that most of the challenges are legacy issues and admitted that PNG Power has over 600 million kina in debt to various creditors, and it has discussed with the creditors to allow the company to settle these debts in a reasonable time frame.
PNG Power owes various creditors substantial amounts of money. 2 of them have actually taken PNG Power to court, and I can announce to this Parliament that we've reached agreements with those companies who are actually owned by our own people. They recognize that their own national-owned company is in trouble, and they've agreed to allow PNG Power time to trade its way out of these difficulties.
Freddie Mo, TVWAN News.
Minister Nduma has also admitted that some employees of PNG Power have colluded with outsiders and steal power through illegal connections.
Yes, there have been some instances where our own employees of PNG Power have colluded with outsiders to steal power. And on many occasions when they have been discovered and found, they have been terminated on the spot. It is a heavily unionized company compared to the others. The presence of union, most of the members, there are about 700 members, employees of PNG Power, who you wouldn't believe it are members of the union. So you may have read recently that PNG Power had to go to court to obtain a restraining order to prevent the union from calling a strike. And the National Court has granted that order. We are using that as an opportunity to stabilize the operations of the company.
TVWAN News continues after the break. Stay with us.
With BSP Internet Banking, you can enjoy your banking at home, at work, or wherever you are. BSP Personal Internet Banking allows you to view your accounts and transactions, transfer money, bill pay, schedule future payments, or access your bank statements. Visit your nearest BSP branch to register now. BSP Internet Banking, the smarter way to bank. BSP, our bank, our people.
It's that time again! Scale Rise is giving you the chance to win some Scout School money for 2023. Over 220 winners, 4 fortnightly draws, that's 55 fortnightly winners. Cash prizes starting at 1,000 kina, 2,000 kina, 3,000 kina. They also have consolation prizes of 500 kina. Buy any Scale Rise or Ori Rise to enter the promotion for your chance to win the Scout School money. Terms and conditions apply. Scale Rise,
the brain changer.
Open nets.
We see you day in, day out, getting on with the job. Coming out on top, because you're not one to back down. From the islands to islands, from the southern to the north, we see you, moving heaven and earth to move our country forward. And at the end of the day, we will be there to serve Papua New Guineans who achieve success with the reward they deserve.
It's on again. It's back to school with Colgate and Protex. 100,000 kina worth of prizes to be won. Win laptops, tablets and 250 kina shopping vouchers. Simply purchase 2 or more Colgate and Protex branded products, write your name and contact details at the back of the receipt, drop it in the entry bin in participating stores for a chance to win. Promotion begins 1st February and ends 31st March 2022. Hurry! Go to your nearest participating store and purchase Colgate and Protex products to win. Terms and conditions apply.
Again, rubbering. Toes it forward. Turbo is back. So impressive last week. Straight. Beautiful ball. And Campbell Gillard is over.
Pulls it away. One bounce for, and that's 50 up for Sean Marsh.
And Paul Wilson says yes, that's 3. Signals to the crowd. Job done for the Indians.
Well, folks, after literally years of negotiation between the Fan and the management of Steve Menzies, we have secured the great man for the show. Welcome to the Fan.
This is all going through my head, and then all of a sudden he passes it back. Oh, my God.
Today we have enlisted the help of Panthers co-captain and superstar halfback.
When you've kicked it well, you usually know, and especially on the chip kicks, I usually know.
Thanks to Nathan Cleary, invaluable insight for the fans out there, for the kids out there.
Welcome back. The Minister for Internal Security, Peter Siamalali Jr., in yesterday's Parliament sitting responded to questions posed by Mulbaya member Jacob Maki on the most recent issues of violence and killing in the country. Minister Siamalali Jr. says the police force currently has a manpower of 5,000 nationwide. They're stretched thin. On Tuesday, Mulbaya MP Jacob Maki asked for updates to the recent killing of a taxi driver near Boira village in Central Province. Maki also queried investigations on the disturbing photo of a naked girl being held by armed men and widely circulated on social media. Maki posed the questions to the Minister for Internal Security, seeking answers on what the police force is doing to address these issues.
There are warlords
in Ella province, ordering recesses in capacity and demanding ransom, young girl being taken hostage and repeatedly being raped. The act of criminals have been gone viral on social media and creating fear among citizens of this beautiful nation. And lately, an innocent taxi driver was hacked to death by unknown criminals near Edai town. What measures is your department undertaken so far to deal with the warlords in Ella and senseless killing along Papolela Road? If nothing has been done, then why?
Minister Peter Samalili Jr. says the process of investigation has been initiated in collaboration with the leadership on the ground. An update will be provided in due time.
We need leadership. We are stretched as a force, and we all know that. We have only 5,000 men managing and forcing our law and order issues. We are making every effort. We started with the recruitment, and we've started that. We've also identified areas within the force that needs special attention. Our CID, our forensic, we are addressing that.
The minister went on to emphasize that the police force is stretched with only a force of 5,000 personnel currently enforcing law and order issues. The department is working on addressing areas within the force that need special attention.
Where it's up to, we'll be here for 2 weeks. I can get an update, and in the next sitting I'll be able to give specific answers to that particular incident, which institution Lolele.
Sogao Training is a family-operated SME business located at Makurapao village in East New Britain. It is managed by Sakis Wali and his daughter Grace, who are in the business of purchasing white copper from farmers, which is then sold to exporters. The high risk of handling large amounts of cash, attacks on staff and robbery forced the Walis into early business closure. However, a few months after closure, the Walis heard of Digicel sell money safe, secure and convenient services and looked into digitalizing payments to the farmers. Digicel Sell Money supported the family's financial initiatives and conducted a digital financial literacy program with Sogao Trading and its chain of suppliers. Digicel Sell Money also issued 100 free mobile phones to the farmers and registered them for Sell Money wallets. Grace Wali was pleased with the ease and secure use of Sell Money and as a result registered Sogao Trading as a Sell Money agent. The National COVID-19 Control Center, through its Risk Communications and Community Engagement and Public Health Interventions Cluster, is facilitating a new passing workshop for market controllers in NCD this week. Together with the National Capital District Commission Market Management Division, 60 NCDC market controllers will be sensitized to improve their fundamental knowledge on COVID-19, nuclear passing, vaccination and water, sanitation and hygiene.
The Nupla Passing workshop covering COVID-19, Nupla Passing, vaccination, and water, sanitation and hygiene was held to sensitize and improve the knowledge of market controllers in NCD. The workshop started on Monday, 13th March at the NCDC Annex building and concluded today.
Our main objective is to actually train as part of COVID-19 prevention and interventions. Our market organizers and also managers in the city, including the security guards, basically the people who actually mind our markets, to make sure that our markets understand the risk transmission, not only of COVID-19, but we also integrated a lot of other public health intervention.
The workshop had representatives from the Department of Health, Health Promotion Brands, and Environmental Health and expanded program on immunization.
So during the workshop, our team will be educating our people, the senior people in the market and also the security guards at our markets to prevent not only COVID-19, but also other diseases. We talk about TB, talk about WASH, preventing transmission diseases in the marketplace.
Wearing an extra hat as the Executive Director for Vaccine Task Force, Dr. Esram Downey said the objective at the end of March is for all health facilities with a functioning cold chain equipment to have COVID-19 vaccines.
Our target is 60 to 80% of those facilities must have COVID-19 vaccine. By June, we anticipate that working with the provincial authorities, public health team, the CEOs, to make sure that 100% of those facilities with functional cold chain equipment must have COVID-19 vaccine.
He said by the end of December 2023, the third objective is to make sure that all the facilities must have both COVID-19 vaccine with immunization vaccine. Meanwhile, Dr. Downey emphasized that PNG is still in its pandemic phase and COVID-19 preventive measures must be followed. Anyone experiencing symptoms of a common cold, such as cough, fever or headache and respiratory difficulties, should report it immediately. Frida Kana, TVWAN News.
Talasia MP Freddie Kumai appealed to Minister for Health, Dr. Lino Tom, at the recent opening of the Bitokara Community Health Post to look into community health posts in the region that are closed. According to Kumai, some of the health facilities have been non-operational for a decade, leaving rural populations with inadequate health service.
Almost 80% of the rural population depend on those community health posts that we have in the rural areas. So this is an appeal to you as a minister, to the chairman of the PHF board and the CEO, please look into those facilities, and we want those facilities also to be open.
The Center for Excellence in Financial Inclusion celebrated the International Women's Day with the theme Digital Innovation and Technology for Gender Equality by encouraging women SMEs to recognize the importance of the digital technology in the financial space. CEFI invited 14 women in SME under the Ledger PAL app pilot project to attend the IWD celebrations to listen to national digital online entrepreneurs who shared on conducting business in the digital platform.
Women entrepreneurs Ginia Ciales, director and owner of Tapioca Delight, and Delisha Wasem of Shebon Kiddie Box shared their experiences in the digital business platform during the International Women's Day celebrations. Ciales spoke about creating your own space and not waiting for one to do it for you.
The idea that I could create a job for myself and others and one day step away and see the whole machinery run without me was so fascinating. But the thing that really scared me into giving entrepreneurship a go was the thought that if there came a time where I lost my job, where would my next income come from? I now realize the real problem was not lack of money, but undisciplined spending habits.
Wasem shared her experiences on how to get into digital marketing.
The page is Shop with Dell. If you would have seen most of my boosted posts. So what I do is basically I go online and I sell my products. So the key to selling online is with the content that you are presenting to your customers. So the challenge is that if you don't write the content well, then it won't be selling.
CEFI Executive Director Garima Tongia said CEFI recognizes the importance of innovations and technology in financial inclusion and wants to ensure an additional 1 million women are banked during the period from 2023 to 2027. He said CEFI as at September 2022, there were 1.4 million accounts for women from the total of 3.8 million. Bank of PNG Acting Assistant Governor George Awap also encouraged by saying that to empower women economically means providing opportunities for them to venture into sustainable income generating activity.
When a mother or a woman gets an income, 85% of that money goes to the family welfare. And when it comes to the man, it drops down to about 35%.
Awap said the sad reality in PNG is that many basic services, including banking, cannot reach many women and men due to the harsh geographical terrains, high security risks, and rundown public infrastructures. CEFI Financial Inclusion Advisor Saliya Ranasinghe, speaking on the topic of potential for women business, vision for the future, said technology has created new and great opportunities for women for business. Frida Kana, TVWAN News.
Kumul Petroleum Holdings Limited have signed a management and operations agreement for a fabrication facility to be established in Port Moresby in preparation for the construction phase of the Papua LNG. The deal was sealed with Fabtech International, a Dubai-based fabrication facility operator.
The fabrication facility is expected to have a capacity of 20,000 tonnes per year, producing steel, mechanical piping and electrical modular packages. This will provide direct employment for 1,000 skilled Papua New Guineans and indirect jobs for up to 3,000 more people when it is operating at full capacity. As a plus, KPH also signed a design and engineering contract with A2Z LLC, a Dubai-based engineering company with significant experience in the design and engineering of heavy fabrication facilities globally. Kumul Petroleum and its investors are expecting to work with the Papua LNG project's EPC contractors to start using the facilities when the project achieves FEED and enters the construction phase later this year or early next year. Kumul Petroleum Managing Director Wapu Song outlined that the facility is designed to meet national content requirements for petroleum, energy, mining, and major infrastructure construction in the country. The site works for the construction of the facility have already begun, located close to the existing ExxonMobil managed LNG plant. Susan Oriape, TV1 News.
The Mini Gulai Band may be a new name, but its members are certainly not strangers to the music scene in PNG. The band comprises the Kania brothers, who are the sons of the king of Tolai Rock, Leonard Kania. The band recently launched its first album titled Nightmare, produced by Matt Keys and Stats Music. Band leader Silas Kania, also known as Psyche, said the idea had been in the works for a while. In 2022, the band became a reality with the release of its first album this March. The album consists of 11 tracks, primarily sung in Kwanwa, Tokpisin and English. The band will officially launch the album at the Blackout nightclub in Port Moresby on Friday, March 17. This will be the first of 3 concerts. 2 shows are being planned for Ley and Kokopo.
First time we meet 4 blood blood first time we meet the States. Bigla putting people the management so yeah, open up in the
You're watching TV1 News. Stay tuned for more when we return.
Experience a convenient and smarter way to do your banking with BSB Mobile Banking. You don't have to leave the office or your home to pay for bills. You can view your account balance, transfer funds, top up phone credits, or purchase Easy Pay units wherever you are. Visit your BSB branch today to register now for BSB Mobile Banking. BSB Mobile Banking, the smarter way to bank. BSB, our bank, our people.
When you're spending time with family, when you've got a big day ahead, when you have given it all you've got, when you're putting on a feast, that's when you want the best. That's when you want Flame Rice. New Flame Rice. Win him, Olgeta.
He says the best Hunters players come from his region. So does she. But there's one thing that brings everyone together. SB Lager. Bongum Yumi. Cheers to 70 years.
right across the nation. We eat snacks crackers. Emi trupla. All get a yampla na lapun, only like him snacks crackers. Only make him here for PNG One Time Lay Biscuit Company. It's crunchy and tasty. It's irresistible.
Whatever you need for your building and home improvements, we got you covered. Hardware House. We supply high-quality professional tools, plumbing and electrical supplies, homeware and outdoor products, paints, building materials and much more, all at affordable prices. And with our experienced staff, we will provide you with the right advice and help you need. So for all your building and home improvement needs, Bayuki Simware, Hardware House. Quality at affordable prices.
The rock star, Jadeja. Oh, bowling through the gate again. Similar story for Aaron Finch. Brilliant bowling from Kumar.
Gets it, Sean Marsh, that's way back. Beautiful shot from Sean Marsh. It's not offside, take him on! That would have been unbelievable from Rohit Sharma.
Starting to bubble up. Here's the lead. Oh, solid hit. Can't stop the powerhouse from Papua New Guinea.
Welcome back. The committee eminent for PNG's foreign policy white paper will be including 2 new board members. Minister for Foreign Affairs Justin Chuchenko said the addition of 2 new members balances the group and allows a broader picture of where the country will go with foreign affairs and the foreign policy in going forward in trade. The foreign white paper policy is a document that guides the foreign service and foreign missions overseas.
We have also added some new members onto that board as per the NEC decision, one in trade and one in finance and economics, to give a balance in the group, so to allow for us to look at the broader picture, not just on foreign affairs and diplomacy, but also to look at the bigger picture of where is the country through our foreign affairs, and our foreign policy going forward in trade? Who are we going to be working with over the next 50 years when it comes to trade? Who are we going to work with and partner with when it comes to economic development and independence? It's not just about diplomacy and defence and policing. Country and our government want to see our country into the future being economically empowered and economically independent.
Days after 2 cyclones hit Vanuatu, ministers from Pacific Island nations are gathering in Port Vila from today to deliberate on building towards regional solidarity around a managed phase-out of fossil fuels. The ministerial dialogue hosted by the governments of Vanuatu and Tuvalu follows on from COP27 in Egypt, where the governments of Tuvalu, Vanuatu and Fiji hosted a ministerial dialogue aimed at navigating a rapid global phase out of fossil fuels. They have called on world leaders to tackle the climate crisis by stopping coal, oil and gas expansion, planning a scale down in production, and supporting a low-carbon system. Pacific leaders at the ministerial dialogue have been urged to come up with solutions that is equitable for all communities. On March 15, Homeland Security Investigation awarded the 2021 HSI Annual Award for Outstanding Investigative Accomplishments for Narcotics and Contraband Smuggling. The awards went to the Papua New Guinea Royal Constabulary, Papua New Guinea Customs, and the Australian Federal Police for their joint effort in fighting transnational crime. Papua New Guinea, being a high-risk transit and consolidation point for narcotics in the Indo-Pacific, recognized the need to revise their drug laws.
The Controlled Substance Bill 2021, which outlawed methamphetamine and resulted in multiple arrests, was passed unanimously by the PNG Parliament on December 2, 2021, as a result of Operation Saki Bomb. This successful international controlled delivery from the United States to PNG required the joint initiative of Homeland Security Investigation, the Australian Federal Police, PNG Royal Constabulary and PNG Customs. During the awards ceremony, HSI Regional Attaché Ernest Verena and Acting Head of Australian Mission Joanne Londes both made remarks. HSI Regional Attaché Ernest Verena stated that joint investigations like the ones being recognized today are vital to stopping illicit smuggling. Each arrest, each seizure is saving lives and decreasing the additional crime that rises from transnational organized crime. I commend the dedicated agents, detectives, investigators, analysts and prosecutors whose international efforts and collaboration led to this outstanding accomplishment. The State Department's Diplomatic Security Service, or DSS, is working closely with PNG partners to enhance the capability of law enforcement and judicial systems. The joint goal is to reduce drug trafficking and strengthen laws to allow PNG police to prosecute drug dealers who threaten the prosperity of the nation. DSS has the largest global presence of any U.S. law enforcement organization and is operating in over 170 countries and 33 U.S. cities, and leads worldwide security and law enforcement efforts to advance U.S. foreign policy and safeguard national security interests, responsible for investigating transnational crimes. Carol Kido Jr., TV1 News.
With Pacific nations facing some of the worst effects of climate change in the world, New Zealand is preparing to change the way it gives aid to its partners so they have more say in how and where money is spent. The government is set to give Pacific nations greater control over the climate change aid they receive from New Zealand in a new high-trust model being rolled out for several countries. Foreign Affairs Minister Nanaya Mahuta in October last year proposed the establishment of a country-flexible finance mechanism, with Pacific nations given climate aid directly to allocate themselves rather than connected to specific projects as present. The AUKUS agreement will create thousands of new jobs, the lion's share of them in South Australia. But under the former French submarine deal, workers there would already be cutting steel while construction of the first AUKUS submarine is still years away.
A new dawn at South Australia's shipyards.
Today's announcement is very good news for the short term in South Australia. It's massive news for the medium term. And in the long term, it's game-changing news for the people of our state.
A $2 billion upgrade will begin at Adelaide's Osborne facility this year, getting ready for construction of nuclear submarines. The submarine program is expected to create more than 8,000 jobs once it reaches its peak. But that's still 2 to 3 decades away, a long wait for local businesses hit by the scrapping of the French sub-deal.
Now we're talking about certainty, but that certainty is a decade away.
It's not just South Australia's shipyards getting an upgrade. $8 billion will be spent on Perth's naval base, which will become the West Coast home of the nuclear submarines from the 2030s. That port will also be getting more frequent, longer visits from US and British boats.
This is a game changer for our nation, and it's a game changer for Western Australia as well.
While WA's HMAS Stirling base will be the West Coast home, the government is yet to confirm whether Port Kembla in New South Wales will be their home in the east.
There's no doubt that Port Kembla, in my view, makes the most sense. It provides a great economic opportunity.
When they make a decision, we'll have more to say about it, but obviously it's a Commonwealth responsibility.
Wherever they're docked, questions remain about how Australia will handle a new nuclear industry. The federal government says Australia won't supply its own fuel, but it does have a responsibility to store it once it's spent.
So obviously that facility will be remote from populations, and today we are announcing that that facility will be on defence land, current or future.
A waste storage facility is unlikely to be needed for decades because the submarines have long-lasting, sealed nuclear reactors. But given the history of attempts to establish nuclear waste dumps in remote Australia, it's likely to be a politically fraught decision for whichever government has to make it.
A daily seaplane service between Sydney and the national capital could begin as soon as September, with trial flights to and from Canberra's Lake Burley-Griffin now underway. While some lake users have raised concerns about the impact, authorities are confident there's enough room for everyone to operate safely.
Begin today and will run right through till Sunday as the National Capital Authority and operators make final preparations for what they hope will become a 7-day-a-week, 365-day-a-year service between Rose Bay in Sydney and here at Lake Burley-Griffin in Canberra. And while the views of the capital and of Sydney Harbour will be major selling points, the operators are hopeful it will become a more efficient and perhaps cost-effective way of travelling between Canberra and Sydney than current, more traditional commercial airline methods.
There's 11 million passenger journeys a year between Sydney and Canberra, and apparently only about 1 million of those are currently flying. So we think there's a great commercial opportunity, particularly given the time savings that services will offer. And we also want to bring back transport services to Sydney Harbour, seaplane transport services, because we believe there's a good opportunity to extend beyond connecting Canberra and Rose Bay to places like Newcastle, Central Coast, New South Wales, South Coast New South Wales as well.
Some users of the lake, including the Canberra Yacht Club, had raised concerns about the location of the operations here on the lake from outside of the National Museum. And so this week's trial is about making sure that those concerns are negated, as well as other concerns about the environmental and noise impacts before full operations begin later this year.
And that ends the news segment. Here's the weather report for the next 24 hours. That ends the news segment. On the other side with Jasmine Iru, Kokopo City League and the Melanesian Cup.
He says the best Hunters players come from his region. So does she. But there's one thing that brings everyone together. SP Lager. Bungum Yumi. Cheers to 70 years.
Could be a bit tighter. shout. That's close. Yeah, that's close.
He's getting frustrated. He takes it out on the white ball.
Tuesday saw half the group reach a conclusion, but the main focus fell on just one quartet in the D-Day in Group D.
The rock star, Jadeja. Oh, bowling through the gate again. It's a similar story for Aaron Finch. Brilliant bowling from Kumar.
Gets it, Sean Marsh, that's way back. Beautiful shot from Sean Marsh. It's gone offside, take him off! That would have been unbelievable from Rohit Sharma.
He rolls it and drills it. Just the start they were after.
He does it so well. Pickett, Gold Tigers. You'll back him every single time, and that's huge.
Welcome back. The Madang government has thrown its support behind the PNG Football Association to utilize football for human development in the province. Governor Ramsey Pariwa during the PNGFA Congress held in Madang recently highlighted that football can be used as a tool to amicably resolve the everyday law and order problems in the province. He said there is a need for PNGFA and the provincial government to seek a workable solution in resolving social issues, breakdown in law and order, gender-based violence, plus many more. The much-anticipated Kokopo City Rugby League Egmark Nines tournament finally got underway last weekend at the Goldspot Stadium, Callabond in East New Britain Province. The Nines tournament would be used as a launch pad to bring some life back to the local league after being dormant for the past 2 years due to the pandemic. It was a nervous start for a lot of teams, having not played rugby league for quite a while due to COVID-19. 14 men's and 4 women's teams were on deck to showcase their talents in the Kokopo City Rugby League Egmark Nines tournament and to dust off cobwebs after the long break. The challenge is an initiative of the newly elected City League executive. Kokopo City League President Nicole Kamara said they had a great turnout and a bigger crowd of supporters. By 4:30 p.m., everyone had gone home. Week 2 challenges this weekend will have some great matches, with Page Park Cowboys of Rabaul up against Spartans of Kokopo. Brothers take on Rabaul Panthers and G-Nut Chiefs of Gazelle Challenge, Pomio Storm Razorbacks. The tournament will run over 3 weekends. It concludes on March 25th. The Nines tournament is being used as a launch pad to bring some life back into the local league. The Pacific Oz Sports Netball Series will be held back in action next month with Papua New Guinea to field a team. The series debut this April when 8 teams compete in the series, 3rd edition on the Gold Coast, Australia.
For the first time, African nations Kenya, Malawi and Zambia will travel to Australia to compete in the competition against returning teams Papua New Guinea, Fiji, Samoa, Singapore and dual series champions Tonga. The Pacific Oars Netball Series is a product that brings together small island netball nations to the international stage to learn, share and showcase the competitive spectator sport. The series is also an opportunity to showcase to the world netball community the quality and competitiveness of netball within the Oceania region. PNG has been slated in a tough Pool A against Malawi, Samoa and Fiji. Meantime, to help advance netball administration in the country, the PNG Netball Federation attended a workshop in Australia, which was timely given the opportunities for the sport and the national team over the next 4 years. Susan Oriape, TV1 Sports.
The Melanesian Cup between the Fiji NRL State of Origin winners Western Maroon and PNG Hela Wigmen will be held in Fiji after a lapse of 2 years. Fiji National Rugby League Interim Chief Executive Don Natabe confirmed the match will be played at Churchill Park in Lautoka next weekend. Natabe said FNRL has approved and sanctioned the Silktails match as the curtain raiser to the Melanesian Cup. As traditional rivalries of rugby league, Fiji and PNG continue to strengthen bilateral ties and promote the sport across the region, especially in the absence of an international rolling calendar. The Wigmen were winners of the 2022 Digital Cup competition. Natabe said 4 matches will be played at the venue. The Kaiviti Silktails and Canterbury Bulldogs play in the Ron Macy Cup Round 2 competition before the Melanesia Cup match kick off at 3 p.m. The Fijian Drua have pulled off one of the most memorable upsets in Super Rugby history, stunning the defending champions Crusaders 25-24 in Lautoka on Saturday in front of a feverish Churchill Park crowd. Kemu Valetini, the younger brother of Wallaby star Rob, slotted in a simple penalty to steal victory in the final act of the game. Valetini, who played for the Manly Marlins last year, was on Super Rugby debut. Here are the highlights match.
They're edging towards the line and they are over. Quentin McDonald. It's 10 points to 0. 2 tries from the driving ball. Here's the angle. Oh, great strike. He is in for the Brewers' first try. Over his left hand on the move like that. Geez, that was very impressive. Oh, what a try, Brewer. But now Nasila goes forward. It pops out the side. Yorisese! Miss those opportunities when he's in space. Obviously, Yorisese finishes off with some great footwork. Wide ball. Tamani. Smoking Joe! Malawa. He's got a Roni Shell with him. Wow! A try here is going to set up a grandstand finish, and Severus is over the line. He gets it down. Ronnie Monenu has it at the back, and they're edging towards the line. They're over the line. It is a try to the Crusaders, the 11-time champions. The crowd sunk to their feet. Flags are up in Lautoka. The Fijian Drua are up in Lautoka.
And that ends TV1 News Tonight. Over to you, Maricela.
Thank you, Jasmine. Before we go, remember to apply the following simple measures to prevent transmission of the coronavirus. Regularly wash your hands with soap and water. Cough or sneeze into your elbow. And exercise social distancing. If you are feeling sick, please stay at home. You can also call the COVID-19 hotline number for more information or assistance. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.
The TV1 News was proudly brought to you by
BSP, our bank, our people.